It's the 6th day of the 35th Sharjah International Book Fair. We're here to catch up with Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who is here for a student session. So how do you, balance between your work and your passion for writing?
Unfortunately, there is no balance. The work always comes first. Because when you're representing people in Parliament, their priorities have to take precedence. So whatever I'm writing, when there's a political issue or somebody comes with a petition or a problem that affects them and they come to see me, I have to see them first, even if I'm busy writing. So as a result, the one problem with politics for a writer is that politics takes precedence over writing.
Like your recently published book just now, it talks about, how the Britishers, kind of ruined India in a way. So can you tell us about how you decided to, get this book published after your, very viral speech at the Oxford University?
Well, that's what happened. After the speech went viral, my publisher called me up and said, "Will you write a book on this?" And I said, "What? Everyone knows this." He said, "No, if everyone knew it, your speech wouldn't have gone viral." So he's the one who persuaded me, saying, "You must write a book." And I rashly said yes, not realizing I'd bitten off a lot more than I could easily chew, because it's one thing to remember everything I knew and use it in a 15-minute speech. It's quite another to actually have to do the research, get the facts, figures, dates correct, make sure that all your recent scholarship has been digested so that you are being accurate in what you put forward. And that, frankly, was much more of a challenge. But anyway, I'm glad I wrote it. It was a very interesting experience delving into all of this, and I hope it'll turn out to be rewarding for the readers.
So, sir, I want to ask you about the recent India-Pakistan conflicts happening. Do you think Britishers are still to blame for that?
Well, certainly the original sin of partition was a direct consequence of the divide and rule policy of the British that tried to foment separatism amongst the Muslim community in India for the purposes of the colonial project and nothing else. Unfortunately, that led to this tragedy, and now that these two countries have been created as two countries, the hostility, the amount of expenditure on defense, now the habit the Pakistanis have developed of sending terrorists and militants across the border, all of this have left us sadly living with horrors that really should never have been perpetrated. But though I blame the British for the original sin, I blame the people of the rulers of India and Pakistan today for still being in the situation 70 years later. We should also face up to our own responsibility for not ending this sooner.
Do you think it's justifiable to involve an entertainment-based industry like, the Indian film industry?
No, I've said very clearly, I think it's rather petty to prevent, for example, artists and filmmakers. I've been a big advocate of India's soft power, and I think part of our soft power is Bollywood, and that if we can engage Pakistani filmmakers and artists and actors and singers and so on, we actually widen the audience for Bollywood and enhance and increase the power of Indian soft power in Pakistan. So I think it was a very, very unfortunate mistake, an own goal that has been scored by people.
Finally, I want to ask you a last question about what do you think, according to you, would be a major advantage if, India and Pakistan was just India?
Oh, I think first of all, we'd save up a heck of a lot in defense expenditure. We'd also, frankly, have the best cricket team in the world. But having said that, I think right now too much has happened. Too much blood has flown along with the water under the bridges. 70 years is a long time. The Pakistani people feel they have a separate identity, and we should not seek to take it away from them. But at least let us live in peace together, the way the US and Canada do, rather than in bristling hostility, the way that, for example, the French and the Germans did for many centuries.
For more updates, follow our Manipal blog and podcast, and keep watching Manipal Dubai TV with camera person Kanchan Meghchiani and Shreyak Bopanna. This is Sabana signing off.